Hello everybody, this is Zerda with Zerda MTG and I'm here today to bring you some historic simic ramp. So let's start over here with the mana base. 2 temples, 4 hinterland, 4 breeding pool, 8 forests, 2 memorial to genius so that we have something to do with our lands, 5 islands, and a castle Vantris, just another mana sink there, should we run out of cards. This is a Nexus of Fate deck. Meaning that we're going to, in the late game, attempt to leverage Nexus of Fate with our Tamios and our Uros to chain them together and gain a large advantage out of taking consecutive turns. For the early game, we have Growth Spirals and Uros to catapult us into the mid game, where we'll be able to start deploying our more powerful threats more quickly. 2 Voracious Hydra is a little bit of early game interaction. 4 Frilled Mystic for the same purpose. Tamio to help fuel our Uros and dig for our Nexuses, as well as recur any of our other threats. 2 Mass Manipulations in kind of the Ulamog slot. I think this might be more powerful should it resolve. Just taking your opponent's cards and gaining card advantage that way, being a little better than just exiling 2 cards and getting a large creature, at least for our intents and purposes. I'd rather gain control of 2 creatures than just have exile 2 problem permanents and then get it to fairy bounced, which I guess isn't the end of the world. It's actually pretty good, but you know, I'd rather have a Teferi Hero of Dominaria on my side of the field than just exile my opponents. So that's the reason for Mass Manip over Ulamog. Ulamog having a cast trigger versus a spell that actually needs to resolve is also a big reason for Ulamog. So I'll test it both ways. Eventually I'll get the Ulamogs and put them in here if I think the deck wants him. It's also easier to dig for an Ulamog with a Vivian Reed, but you can also recur Mass Manipulation with Tamio, so we'll see which one ends up being more relevant. 2 Great Shark to kind of bring together the Frilled Mystic kind of package, where you swing the tempo back into your favor by both countering and advancing your board state at the same time. So denying your opponent some resource while gaining a resource yourself is pretty good. This is obviously a lot worse than Frilled Mystic at being a counterspell, but a lot better than Frilled Mystic at being an actual creature. So we're going to try out Great Shark. 4 Biogenic Ooze, because I think this is the best fair creature that we have access to in Historic. Just being able to absolutely dominate any game where it doesn't get answered quickly is a very good place to be, so I figure that's where I'll go with this. It's one of the 3 reasons I decided to put this deck together, the other 2 being, Uro and Nexus of Fate. 2 Vivian Reed, digs for our threats, manages to deal with things out of other Nexus decks as well as enchantment-based removal. Also pairs better with extra turns than our Vivian, or our other Vivian. Just more likely to give us card advantage and multiple activations out of our walkers than just making some 3/3 tokens that are very good. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm trying to deploy a threat, I'd rather deploy an Ooze, a Hydra, or a Uro than just a 3/3 with an ability. 2 Kogla, the Titan Ape, more interaction, play it, kill a creature, keep your creature, deals with things like Wilderness Reclamation that might otherwise be a problem. So we play some Kogla and 3 Nexus of Fate, because we're not all in on the Nexus plan. Sideboard, 2 Negate, 3 Dispute, 1 Cruel Harpooner for things like Mono Blue Devotion. Basically just Mono Blue Devotion, actually. Shifting Ceratops for Mono Blue and other control decks, and anything that might have some walkers we need to swing in against quickly. Wicked Wolves as against the aggro decks. These aren't in the main because they're not very good at, fighting when you have no food synergies, but being able to come down and eat potentially a Steamkin on turn 3, or just some other creature and then sit around and, be a creature our opponent has to kill. I think it's good. Basically, Ravenous Chupacabra against smaller decks, or smaller creature decks is why we have this. We need interaction. Otherwise, look, we have Voracious Hydra and Kogla to deal with creatures once they're down. I guess also Mass Manipulation, but still. 2 Carnage Tyrant, can't be countered, hexproof, trample, giant creature for only 6 mana. Comes in when we need a resilient threat that's also, capable of winning on its own, and, well, that's what Carnage Tyrant is. 1 more Voracious Hydra against creature decks. Maybe I want the 4th, I'm not entirely positive. We only really want this against creature decks, though. Just being a giant creature for its 2nd ability isn't exactly as good against non-aggro decks. And 2 Hydroid Krasis, because, drawing a bunch of cards against control decks, that's basically uncounterable, and is also just capable of being absolutely gigantic in the air. Pretty good. And let's jump into some games and hope that, the same thing that happened during the last attempted recording doesn't happen again, where, Arena decides to crash and make me restart my computer before I can continue. Arena's had a few problems since the last update. I'm hoping I don't run into another one so that I can actually give you guys a video. Well, I guess you'll know earlier in this video than I will, if that's going to be a problem. Because if you hear this, hey, there's a video. If you don't hear this, guess what? I didn't put it up. Alright. Ooh, we will absolutely take the play. So what we're looking for is something to do on turn 2 and 3 and at least 3 lands. Ooh, I was trying to say this is not a keep, but we kept, so yeah, we want at least 3 lands in any hand that we're looking to keep, as well as something to do early game. This fits none of those, so I think we're gonna lose this one pretty hard. Unless our top card is also a land, then we have a shot. Alright, 4th land, please. I would like to ideally hit a Vivian Reed on turn 4, but if we can't, Tamiyo would also be nice. Land. Alas. Click the wrong button, pay the price. Trying to get through this a little too quickly because I almost had the last video through. Alright, I imagine we're losing the Tamiyo here. Maybe the Growth Spiral. Yep, goodbye Tamiyo.
Has been compromised.
Oh, didn't know they had voice lines if they got discarded. That's pretty cool, I guess. Vivian can also shoot down that kite sail, which is pretty cool, I guess. Drop the hero. Gain a little bit of life back. Play a tap land. Alright, so I think next turn we're gonna have Hydra fight their freebooter. Alright. Take 3 damage here. But thanks to Uro, it's like none of this really matters. We basically undid that attack step last turn. Alright. X equals 2. Okay. This doesn't have reach also, does it? Nope. Fight. This can be a mistake to choose fight here. They might have some kind of a trick. But, nope. I was expecting more removal than, some strange pump. Still would have been nice, though. I have to wait for our sideboard to be able to get access to some of our hate cards for this, because this is looking pretty bad. Hurrah. Uh-oh. There we go. I was gonna say, is Arena acting up again? Please don't be, Arena. And if I can hit another land and drop the Kogla, I'll be happy. Drop Kogla, fight the freebooter is the goal. Uh-oh. I guess it'd be fight the general. Goodbye, General. Please. What a dire tactics. I guess they're going to kill it by sacrificing 2 humans and then just kill me. I was wondering what was taking that. Alas, we didn't really have any alternative there because of the Thalia. No mass manipulation to take the general away from them and then, you know, hold things up. Alright, so Wicked Wolf, some interaction, some more interaction. Things we don't really want. We can trim there. Trim there. Suppose we also kind of want to trim these. They're more of a pre-board threat. Let's see. Maybe I want a Hydroid Krasis. Yeah, I think just having another giant creature against them could be pretty good. Better than the Shark, at least. Which, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it's more of a pre-board, we don't have much better to do than it is a post-board threat. Maybe I should actually just drop them for more Krasises. No, no. This isn't exactly a turn 3 play, so I'm gonna have to hit this one. I'll keep because I don't want to go below 7. Or below 6. And against them, I'd rather have the Monster's Advocate. Lead on Temple of Mystery, see if we can find either an Uro or a Growth Spiral. Basically all we're looking for. Well, it's one of the things we're looking for, so we're keeping it. Might land a turn 4 Vivian, which would be nice. They might also have Drill Bit though, so shouldn't get our hopes up too high. Yep. Goodbye, Vivian.
I'll survive.
Hero. Again, it's that life back, as well as drop another land. Alright, so now I'm really hoping for the 5th land drop. I'd like to make this more than a 2-2. Or 2-3, sorry. Even though I know it's risky and they'll probably use removal if I do draw the 5th land, I'm going to deploy the Hydra, not the Ooze. That'll change things though, because now I can actually gain an advantage, instead of just having to, I can gain a tempo advantage instead of playing into their play. And 2 damage a turn isn't going to be too bad. So I'll just hold up the Hydra or the Mystic for a bit, instead of getting blown out. Opponent is very patient here. Oof. Alright. Alright, now we have to kind of just deploy. Alright, excellent. This was the turn that we had to deploy no matter what to. And we got lucky and they deployed as well. If they'd waited one more turn, we'd have been in trouble, because then they just start making 1/1s and we can't sit back any longer. Oh, excellent. Swinging. Until we hit the 5th land, I'm just going to hold back on this Frilled Mystic though, because our opponent finally decided to break the standoff. Dire tactics is fine. It'll also make him think we don't have another Frilled Mystic. Could be wrong to not just take the value where I could get it. It was definitely wrong to not take the value where I could get it. I'll hold on to the Mystic for later. Play the Hydra. They're gonna dire tactics me. We'll still fight the Kite Sail if we can. But doing this forces them to actually use it instead of holding up the castle. So things to note for future games against them. Our opponent is very patient, and it pays off in this matchup, so. Ugh. So the other one was only played out because they drew a second one, Alright. Well, we've got to do something here. Oh boy, is that human? Oof. So that activating would exile my Uro. I think I've just got to accept that this Uro's gonna go, because I desperately need that land drop. Like, not hitting it for this long is fairly unreasonable. There we go. Now next turn I can finally drop my Hydra and kill their general. General's Enforcer. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. They have the combo. We couldn't draw another land yet. Oh boy. Alright, so we'll fight the Kite Sail. I believe, because that's only, yeah, legendary humans, and that's unfortunately a legendary human. Alright, so if I fight the Kite Sail, versus if I fight the Giant Killer, no, I'm gonna fight the Kite Sail to start unlocking my threats that I actually want to deploy. And actually forcing that Giant Killer to stop attacking. I am actually just dead here, though. I don't know why I'm playing this out. We can see it. The opponent has got it. Alright. So yeah, the not drawing the land was pretty obnoxious. Our opponent being patient was very heads up on their part. Frilled Mystic is pretty hard to not telegraph, though. We read what our opponent had correctly, but we didn't have the luxury of continuing to play around it. Just in case it was a bluff. We were getting quite low there, and our opponent would just be able to continue to create tokens that would eventually completely overrun us without ever opening themselves up. Not sure we could have won that game. Probably could have done things differently in game one. You know, in the mulling department. Let's go back in for another one. Nope. Also no. Alright. Definitely not keeping the shark. I think we just want to stick to things we're more likely to be able to deploy. Alright. Hope we draw another blue source before another green source. We still have them. Not that many less than we do green sources either. If it's only a turn 2 Bone Crusher, I suppose that's fine. It's only a 4/3. Oh boy, this might be game right now. Huh. Alright. Yeah, we're not beating that. Okay. Let's hide with the rest of what we've got. Yeah, the turn 3 16 damage, not something we're gonna beat. Alright, things not good against Winota. Red Shark is pretty good once we get to that state, or part of the game, but Wicked Wolf can kill some of their smaller creatures, or just trade for some of their others. Voracious Hydra as well. Alright. And what do we not want? Suppose things we don't want include just voracious great shark. Yeah, because while it can counter, we'll be left behind on board if we try. We need our planeswalkers. They're basically our only way to get repeated card advantage. Maybe I should have dropped Vivian Reed instead. Nope, not 3 lands, so that's a mole. Definitely a mole. And there we go, a keeper, finally. Goodbye, Forest, and... Is it Forest Castle Vantris? No, I think it's double Forest. Deploy Temple. Alright, Tamiyo, as long as we can draw another land, you'd be an even better first threat than Ooze. See if we can convince our opponent to play around something. I doubt it, they have the soul read, I feel. Know that we're just growth spiraling. Tamiyo will dig for, let's see. What should we dig for?
Like the phases of the moon, like waxing and wane to the
Kogla?
library.
No, too early. Voracious Hydra? Maybe. It's one of our better draws. Uro? We would rather bin it. So, Voracious Hydra. Alright. So hopefully... Oh, it's another Winota. Just don't hit it this time, please. One time. No hit. Oh, come on. Again. Alright, yeah, we're not beating that out of the Winota deck. That's, the Winota deck's best draw. Is turn 3 threat, turn 2 threat, turn 3 Winota, hit Angrath's Marauder. Oh. Alright, just to, stop the rank decay and, you know, actually have some cards for the Winota matchup, apparently. Something I really should have been aware of. Let's go ahead and, play something a little, more fun. I suppose this isn't gonna actually do anything for our win rate, but hey, Grixis is at least a fun deck, right? We have answers to threats. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so Thought Erasure, into Thief of Sanity, into Bolas isn't bad, which we were on the play. And just kind of tilted off of the ramp deck, was doing well until Arena crashed, and then everything was downhill from that. Yeah, I'll keep this. Unless we draw another land, we're gonna have to lead on Memorial so that we can curve out. Oh, that's bad. It's not the matchup we wanted to see. But at least we'll be able to Thought Erasure. And take a Annex or a Chain Whirler. Oh boy. And what do we find? Definitely taking the Chain Whirler. Just, a threat we don't want to have to deal with. Thank you, Land on Top. You're actually something I need. So, a bit of a question if we try and deploy Thief of Sanity next turn. Let them shock that instead of us. Or if we Agonizing Remorse into Bolas. I think we're gonna Agonizing Remorse. Just so that we can... How do I put it? just so that our bow loss will be a little safer and we can take any more problematic card as well. I'll take the... Let's see. I think I'm taking a shock here, honestly, which is only saving us 1 life, but it's also, no, I gotta take the lightning strike. Otherwise it teams up with, their fervent champion too well. The Ember Cleave I'll just have to deal with later. See, this is something I'd have liked to play against in the, mono red deck. Or with the simic ramp. I want to play against mono red. I feel that's not the worst matchup for us. So this is just gonna get eaten. It'll take 3 cards out of their hand, we'll get hit for a bit. And then we can deploy a Thief of Sanity, block one of their creatures. Yep. And now what do they discard? Alright. So now, hopefully we're able to just throw a Thief in front of one of their threats. Most notably, most probably Scorch Spitter. Oh, this is actually pretty good for us. Alright, so, change of plan, we'll be throwing it in front of the Fervent Champion. So long as they don't play another Fervent. Oh boy, okay. Take out the Scorch Spitter. It does more damage. Hope we draw land and can, Shark Typhoon. Chain Whirler. Pretty bad for us there. In case we draw a shark, or a shock land, we'll deploy this now. Did not, but we did draw land. Shame we won't be able to take out enough threats. Trying to think of if we even have draws that let us survive this. Yeah, they get a 1/1. Alright, so we stay alive. No attacks. Shame we don't get to actually kill Annex hardened by the Forge. No, in fact we are just dead. So, let it all through. Alright. And now for our last game we're going to move on to some mono blue flash, just something I enjoy a little bit more. And let's see. There we go. Just trying to give myself some more fun games here towards the end of this video. A little bit stressed from the video failing earlier, so not exactly playing the best. Let's see. Yeah, I'll keep this, I think. Sideboard Vandal Dispute against a Yorion deck? Oh, absolutely against a Yorion deck. I think I'm also very liable to just deploy the Spectral Sailor turn 1. Put on more pressure. I know I do it quite often anyway, but even if I draw a Curious Succession here, which I did not, it was very likely to go on to it this turn, just for its ability to, or my ability to still hold up Mystical Dispute, even if I were to do that. Well, that is fine. That is not the giant threat you think it is. That's what this is. That's a late game threat. I think it's right to Curious Obsession here. I know that it means I don't get to hold up Dispute. But I feel if they have the Teferi, they're more likely to deploy Teferi than another threat, and this is the turn for that. So this has the highest upside, and even if they just kill it, it's only a 1/1 for them. Alright. So, only a 1/1, because we did get that draw. deploy Fairy Vandal. And I know it's Fairy Vandal's now smaller, which was the real consideration for not just running it out there. But, hey, what are you gonna do about it? I'm 100% not deploying anything into a Shockland to do nothing. Not insane. It's gonna be a Shark Typhoon cycle, actually, isn't it? I'll just Brazen Bounce the Shark. No, by all means. Continue to get in there. Should have seen that coming. Got lucky in drawing the land and being able to still hold up threat or dispute. And the correct play still being the one I made without thinking about it. I feel like this is just going to get me blown out. But I also feel I'm not deploying anywhere near, or not presenting anywhere near a large enough clock to not do this. So I feel this is going to get me sharp. No? Alright. We're now pretty close to just winning this. Negates and disputes. Negate that. Still holding up dispute. Absolutely not. Normally I'd counter the original spell, but that one gains them life, so no thank you. Alright, now even if their sweeper gets through, we get to deploy a Brineborn and hold up a counterspell, so seems good to me. No sir. Or ma'am. Omen of the Forge will resolve. Kill Brazen. Deploy Cutthroat. We have game anyway. There you go. Alright, now that's what I'm talking about. A little bit of flash action. Let's see, let's also play something else I haven't done in a while. With... where is it? There we go. Big Flash. Haven't done that in Best of 1 in a while. And the meta is pretty different from Best of 3. Alright, let's see. How are things gonna go? Alright, on the play, I like this hand. Still looks mono blue. Only difference is we have a Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I really like this hand. Sea Dasher and Spectral Sailor. It's just a very, very good synergy in the opening hand. Grow our creature and start drawing cards. Thank you very much. A fervent champion. Any other red 1-drop we'd have just traded with a sailor. That one cannot trade, though. Or we cannot trade for, I should say. Do I want to start drawing cards here? I think so, because then we can start growing our Brineborn at about the same speed. Because of the Spectral Sailor in our hand. And if this just dies next turn, then we've bought ourselves a little bit of time from slowing down their hand. Nope, just Steamkin. Alright, that's fine. Plan to just Brazen Borrower bounce their Steamkin. So yeah. Okay. If they deploy anything too scary, I guess we'll dispute it instead. But most likely this is just going to be a Brineborn Sailor turn. Yep. So not a turn we block, but yep. We're going to take some decent sized damage here. No, that resolves, which can give them another land, and that's kind of scary. Alright, if they play another land, they might force our hand on bouncing the Steamkin. Alright. No. I think I'll just let them have the mana advantage this turn, if they want to shrink their threat. And deploy Sailor. Sailor will die, but it will save our cutthroat. Go for it, you get a robber. And you get a fervent. Number 3. Goodbye, Sailor. That's what we'd like to do with it anyway. You know what? Not the best, but I'll take it. I'll cast down this turn, loses me a counter, but I'm absolutely fine with that if it means I get to keep drawing some cards. Oh, that's excellent. So, let's see. Would I rather tap down the Steamkin to deploy the Trickster? I think I'd rather shrink a Fervent Champion. It'll all depend on the order my opponent does things in. Steamkin. I think that means bounce the first Steamkin to prevent them from deploying even more threats this turn. And just accept that we only get to eat one champion. They can also team up with Shock to kill our creature here, but so be it. We're not allowed to not make this block this turn. Swing in, draw a card. End the turn. No, I'm gonna save that dispute for something much more threatening. I'd much rather be able to get down a Trickster and a Sea Dasher this turn. Oof. Alright, so be it. Nothing we can do about that. No attacks? That's a concern. Tap down the Steamkin. Sea Dasher. Onto our Sea Dasher. Doesn't matter where we put it, because we'll put it over. Draw ourselves 2 more cards. Nice. Okay. Shark Typhoon, Slitherwisp is a blocker. Not sure how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna do this greedy and go with the Shark Typhoon. Let's make sure I counted all this right. Yep, Shark Typhoon. I did. Alas, I'm still dead if my opponent has a Shock or a Embercleave or anything. But I still think it was right to dig for removal with Sea Dasher. I think that's a better way to try and beat Embercleave than leaving back a blocker. See, if I had drawn that Brazen, would have been just fine. Block. block, block, take 4, down to 2. Embercleave very easily wins them the game here. No Embercleave, well, Shock also does. But Fade burns spells, and we got it. And I think we're managing to Fade. You're going to cast a Shock, or a Lightning Strike, or... no, Bone Crusher Giant. Alright. I think that was pretty close, though. Still a really good game. We're a draw step away from being able to also just to have blocked one of those, instead bounced the Fervent. So, maybe the correct play was even to C-Dasher on and try and draw 3, although I don't think that's actually the case. Just the case in that specific draw line. And I think that's the length of what I try to make my videos. Give me just a second here to check. Alright, absolutely. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and that is something I really look forward to. So, have a nice day.